Page 298, Chromatic Rag. It's a ragtime piece of music. So YouTube has problems in that right now, is when I'm recording this, you cannot search on a playlist. You can only search on videos. Well, I put the name of the book, as well as the page number and the name of the piece, if there is a piece, in the title of each video, so you can search on that. Because if you just search on the name of the book, you'll get some, maybe, I don't know if you get them all, you'll get some of the lessons in the book. If you search on Chromatic Rag, you'll get all kinds of things. But if you go to my playlist page in my channel, and there's a filter capability, put in 2 or 3 words in the book title, and they have to be in the right order. You can't approximate like you can in Google. It's got to be exact right. 2 or 3 words in the title of the book, and it will filter down and list all the playlists with those words in it. And from there, the shorter list, you can usually find the playlist you're looking for. Now, if you search on Chromatic Rag and you can find this just in the videos, then if you click on it, look in the description, the playlist, the URL for the playlist of the book is in all the videos for whatever the playlist is. Just go down and look in the description and you can get that to get to the playlist too. Different ways of doing it is just not real straightforward and easy sometimes. I have asked YouTube to fix that, but they don't listen to me. They do their own. However, let's talk rag now that I've ranted enough. You can tell it's a ragtime piece. It's got rag in it. And you can tell there's going to be chromatic stuff in it, chromatic passages. And you can see that by looking at it, and you see all the little notes with the sharps and flats and things. So I look it over. It's about, what, page and a half, more or less, long. It's longer than that because of repeat signs and whatnot, but just the music to learn, about a page and a half of music. Clef signs are treble and bass clef, at least to start. The key signature is no sharps or flats, so it's either C major or A minor. This happens to be in C major. But do the scales and arpeggios for both, C major and A minor. Okay. 4/4 time. We'll take it one hand at a time because we got eighth notes going crazy. And as standard fingering, they say use the correct fingering for chromatic. I would say call it more like the standard fingering because there's different fingerings. I would not necessarily say if you used a different finger, it would be incorrect. It's just a different fingering. There are probably some really bad fingerings, but I don't recommend them. So we'll just use the fingering in the book for now and see how it goes. I might change things. Sometimes I do. Chromatic passage going up first. And 2. And then reach up. Thumb comes down. See, I'm kind of in that position. And here I'm just rocking the arm back and forth. And thumb comes down 1. And do it again. If you don't want to be up in here, you can use 2. But if you use 2, you got to use 5 on both of these. If you use thumb, you can do that. Just now you're stuck up here, and if your hands are big, you got fat fingers, this doesn't fit. You got to do that. Again, I don't know how big your hands are, but going on. Here. Measure 7. 1 and. Now, this can be tricky. You have 2 notes in measure 7 to start with. Going to 1 note. 2 notes. It is rather tricky to get those notes down at the same time. It's about impossible for me, but hopefully you just learn the hand here. If one note or the other is always early, then focus on the other note. Focus on that one. That usually fixes it. Temporarily, anyway. Anyway, 1 and. 1 and. And then going on, the notes are here, but it has an ABA above it. So you actually hear it, so you don't hear. Here, I don't like that fingering, but we'll go ahead with it. I would prefer to just stay here and do a 2/3. Because you don't have to start a chromatic passage with thumb just because it's a white key. I'm already, and the actual fingering for a chromatic passage when both of these notes are involved is a thumb too. So I do a thumb on the B for measure 8, and then a 2/3 for measure 9. And then I'm back. I'm going to recommend a 2 for that first note in measure 9. Basically, you're playing the same thing you did before, only an octave higher. Now, let's go to measure 15. You're up here. Thumb, and then here. Now, you got a measure rest to get down to here for measure 18. What? Well, it's got a tied note in it. And if that's throwing you, and it does some people, they tosses them clean out of it. Then temporarily take out that tie and play all the eighth notes. Just all eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So just eighth notes. And once you can get that okay, put the tie in. Just hang on to it rather than playing it twice. Measure 20, same rhythm, different note. And then they want thumb again. I would really rather not. I don't want to go from here. There's nothing wrong with it. You can if you want. It's kind of fun. Oh, look, I can jump around. Okay. I don't like it, though. So I'm going to reach up and do a 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, a 3, 2, 1. Because that gets me in position. I need thumb there because I got to go up here. There. I'm sort of in this position here. And again, just a chromatic passage with 2 notes. It's not much of a chromatic passage, so you just finger it. So in measure 21, it's crossover. Then here, then again, then 23, come down. Now 5. You can use 4 if you want, but it's good practice to use 5. Don't shy away from these awkward fingers. Use them. So in measure 20, I'm ending that here. And in measure 21, I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 to get me going, so I don't have to use thumb on both. However, you can use thumb on both if you want, or if your teacher insists on it. Left hand, mostly broken chords and block chords. C, and a broken chord. D. That's okay. You can do a 4, 2, 1 there because I'm coming off of here. I prefer to do that with here. Because here, all I'm doing is raising the thumb up. So I prefer 4 to do it however you want to. G7, whatever. Measure 17. Now you get that. The same rhythm we had on the other hand. 1. Now, measure 17, you're sticking with the standard fingering. And you have a measure rest, you got plenty of time to come up. However, I still don't like it. I see no reason to end measure 17 with the thumb. I prefer to end it with the little finger. I can go here. Because now I can just reach up and I'm ready. Here. So I'm going to end measure 17 with a little finger. So it's a 3, 5. And I'm going to end measure 19 with a 5 here also, because I'm closer to where I want to be. I'm here to here, or I'm here to here. I don't want to move too far. Again, you got a whole measure rest. It doesn't matter. It's just for fingering purposes, I don't want to move around a lot, even if I've got rests. Personal thing. You do it how the book, fingering in the book is fine. And then we're back to measure 21 to. And then the last measure at the bottom, it's a, remember there's an F sharp in the key signature? Yeah. Then you go back to the beginning that's here. Okay. Let's put the heads together and see what we got here. It's here. Now I'm connecting everything I can for now. We'll do this articulation later. Here. And then here. Make sure you lift these quarter notes in the left hand up. Don't hold them down. I tend to want to hold them down. Don't. Pretty repetitious. Let's go over to measure 17. It's the same rhythm in both hands, just different places. sort of have the hands working together, then I go over and over and work out the hesitations. Now, this is a longer piece, so I recommend you take this just a little piece at a time. For instance, get this first part, it's like through measure 9. Get all that worked out. And then start at measure 10, you're going to find it's the same as what you just did, but an octave higher. But only work on the first 9 measures until you can get them. Then once you get them, put them aside. Don't keep playing them. Work on the next ones. And then once you get those, then go to measure 17 and work on that section. Don't play any of the rest of it until you can play that section starting at measure 17 without hesitations. Then once you can do that, then you put it all together. Because if you just keep spending your time playing stuff you can play, you're really kind of wasting your time when you need to be working on stuff you can't play. Focus on that first. Okay. I lecture that a lot, but it's so important. If you're like most people, your practice time is limited. So you have to plan that very carefully. So yeah, it's important what you do and how you practice. Now I have the articulation. Staccato, I'm flexing at the wrist on this short staccato. I'm lifting up for the phrasing in the right hand. Both hands here. Measure 7, it's an accent on that staccato. Play a little louder. And then let's go to measure 16. They're all staccatos here. Here, okay. Measure 17, just accent. Accent on those. And then on measure 21, just lift up for the slurs in the right. And then see, on slurs, you don't always lift up before and after a slur, but you can. Depends on the music. And here we're going to lift up. So it's here again. And then the last measure at the bottom is staccato. And when you go back to the beginning, with a DC Alfini, you go back to the beginning, connect that. Don't go... No, it leads into it, so connect it. Dynamics applies to the melody, which for the most part is the right hand, but a measure 17 and all, it's both hands. Moderately loud, mezzo forte, whatever you think that is. Keep these chords in the background soft. And you're staying in that area until you get over to what, measure 15 or so, and you're coming down here. Soft. And then for measure 17, now you're loud. With an accent, makes that one note very loud. Now you're soft, measure 21, in the right hand, the left hand is very soft. And then at the end, bottom here, soft, and you're going to go to moderately loud. Moderately loud. Actually, you're only going to go to about moderately soft in the left hand. It's the right hand, when you go back to the beginning, it needs to be moderately loud. Now, on this articulation, there's nothing marked like in measure 2. You can separate those, and I tend to, because just to me with a rag, it wants to kind of bounce along, and so I do that. I don't play them real short. I just separate them. I bounce along. However, it's interpretation. You experiment with different ways, and how do you like it? Or how does your teacher like it? And that will do it for you too. Now, as far as the speed goes, not fast. That's what Scott Joplin was using sometimes in his rags, because people would just tend to want to just take off. Loud. and it's out of character. It just ruins it. The rag that Joplin wrote, The Entertainer, a very famous rag, Joplin put in that one not fast because people want to take that real fast. Slow it down. And this is the same way. Enjoy this. Let it just kind of bounce along. Now, finally, the road map, because I've talked about the DC Alfini. Okay. Well, measure 17, you see the reverse repeat sign. And at the bottom of page 299, you have endings, first and second. At first ending, you're going to do that, and the repeat sign there sends you back to measure 17. So then you do that whole thing again, and then you do the second ending, which sends you back to the beginning. And you do all that back to the fine, which is at the end of measure 16, where the thin and thick bar lines are. Remember the thin and thick bar line? That is the symbol for the end of a piece. And it could be anywhere, depends on where the piece ends. Notice too, I didn't point it out, I will, that on measure 17, we changed key signatures. We went from C major into G major. And then at the end, the natural signs shown there, take those sharps away, and now we're going back into C major. So we just change key signatures is all. It can get a little confusing because if you look like measure 19, here, that first F, that is an F sharp. It doesn't have a sharp sign in front of it or anything, but it is an F sharp because there's an F sharp in the key signature. So you have to watch what key signature are you in, because they're not going to duplicate the accidentals that are in the key signature in most cases. That just complicates things. So yeah, you get an F sharp there for that section unless they give you a natural sign. Remember the natural accents? 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember the natural accents. So it's important. I'm exaggerating them so you can hear them better, but you just feel these all the way through. Again, please don't copy me. You don't need to take it that fast. Just have fun with it. It needs to be accurate. You can go. If that is your speed, great, as long as it's accurate. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do the dynamics. We'll do the repeats and the DC and all that. I'll give us 4 counts. And I will do the staccatos and stuff and the accents. At least I'll try to. Now, because we got eighth notes all over everywhere, I put the metronome on eighth notes. So it's beating eighth notes. Here. 1 and 2 and. That's how fast we're going to go. But I'm going to give us 4 quarter note counts to come in. 1 and 2 and ready and go and. and 2 and 3 and rest and 1 rest rest 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and repeat. Rest. 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 Second ending. 1 and 2 and 3 to the beginning. And and 2 and 3 and rest and